from the Daily Mail. Senator who cornered Secret Service director in a GOP convention luxury suite reveals what he asked that sent her running. After 20-year-old Thomas Crooks shot former President Trump and killed former firefighter Corey Compertor at a rally on Sunday, Cheadle has been called on to resign, and multiple investigations into the matter have been announced. On a call Wednesday with Cheadle, FBI Director Christopher Wray and lawmakers, officials revealed Trump's protective detail spotted the shooter 20 minutes before he opened fire. On that call, Cheadle refused to respond to questions about why Trump was allowed to take the stage. So we saw this recently, that apparently she decided to walk into the RNC and was hounded by basically everybody, journalists, Republicans, politicians. I'm actually surprised she thought she could show up here and people would just be like, yeah, sure, okay, fine. I don't even know if resignation is enough. I don't know that she has any direct involvement in what happened. But again, the idea that they saw the guy 3 hours prior with a rangefinder, an hour before the shot, they took pictures of him, 26 minutes, again, another confrontation, that two local law enforcement confronted him, that she's lying. No way am I going to play any of their game. She's lying when she says the roof was sloped, so we didn't have anybody up there. That's nonsense. And
I'll cite
Dan Bongino. They also didn't block line of sight. And then they lied and claimed local law enforcement was supposed to be protecting that, not them. And local law enforcement says, are you nuts? No, we weren't. This lady has lied about it, and I want answers. So I'm hoping that this may be the first time. But I'll tell you this, Tucker Carlson said this could be the first, this may be one of the only crimes we actually get resolved because of these are my words, arrogant and egotistical members of Congress who think they will one day be president and they don't want to be in that situation. But it is actually stunning. We are at a time, I grew up, the JFK shooting, you're a conspiracy theorist if you suggest anything about it other than a crazy guy took action.
Yeah, everyone freaked out about Oliver Stone's movie.
Absolutely. But now, I sit down with Ron Paul, Luke and I, what was it, a couple years ago?
Oh, yeah.
2 years ago. And he says it was the CIA. And that's a former member of Congress, a mainstream talking point. And then we hear this when we interview RFK Jr. only a few months ago. And he says outright, the CIA killed my dad and my uncle. We are now at the point where when this happens, there's no official narrative. There was the media coming out immediately saying, here's what happened. Here's your story and pass it along like we would normally expect in the past. This time around, immediately everybody said, inside job, official capacity, we want answers.
And then to have them there, that I'm friends with Kevin Cramer, Senator Cramer. The ones you're listing there, Marsha Blackburn and the other senators, these are the ones that actually stepped up right after the 2020 election. I was with them. Those are the ones that actually listened to all the stuff and all the evidence we had. And they said they took a step back, looked at it all. Of course, nobody listened to them either then, but if more people are like them, more senators calling them out, they've got to I like that. There's three of them joined Kevin and put that pressure on her. She's, and it's different. It's going to be different. All these things that have happened to us is since the 2020 election, people's eyes are getting open up. It's like if they gave us another virus, another China virus 2.0, you think we'd all be outside eating in snowbanks and wearing masks and doing all this other stuff? We wouldn't put up with it. So these things, I think people are finally getting courageous, including senators.
I think the Epstein files may have been, if not the dam breaking, but a crack in the dam.
Yep.
And so shout out to, I think it was the Miami Herald as well as Mike Cernovich, who reopened that story. Of course, Alex Jones has been talking about it for a long time. But all of a sudden, the Epstein conspiracy story goes mainstream. James O'Keefe, Project Veritas, got that video of Amy Rohrbach saying, I had the story and they killed it. Piece by piece is hitting the mainstream narrative, and the corporate press couldn't keep it down, to the point where they had no choice but to make a move on Epstein. And then they made a move on Epstein. But the moment he did, everyone just knew. And they knew. There was no conspiracy theory. There was no ridicule from the corporate press. It was outright, ain't no reasonable person going to believe that Epstein just curled up on the top bunk of his narrow bed with a sheet on his neck and then lunged forward on his knees. It made no sense.
It's one of the most unifying things for our country, right? That everyone suddenly was like, that's not true. You can vote differently, but no one believes that
Nobody
story.
believes
There was somebody, I think it was MSNBC coverage at the convention, standing there, with one of the Jeffrey Epstein shirts behind one of these hosts.
Oh, I saw
showing
that.
it, which was great. But, it is crazy to me, and Luke can speak on this probably better than anyone here, the fact that they allowed the FBI to lead the investigation into what actually happened, with the Trump assassination attempt. And it's like, we're going to trust the FBI, the same FBI that was in charge of the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping hoax, and among so many other hoaxes that we've seen throughout history, potentially even arming gunmen, so many other things. I mean, this is not the organization of the past that took down the mob, that was involved in all these things. They are a corrupt organization. You can't trust these three-letter organizations to actually do the bidding. They're investigating themselves.
They're investigating parents who go to school board meetings. They're investigating Catholics who go to Latin Mass.
It's literally the same FBI that preys on mentally ill people and tries to get them to commit acts of terrorism. It's the same FBI that had victims and children coming to them in the 90s saying that they were hurt by Mr. Jeffrey Epstein, that they ignored for years as they ran an international cover-up operation and were essentially helping him hurt small children in absolutely unspeakable ways. And again, I think the realization is that a lot of people are waking up that the government is capable of horrors that you can't even imagine. And once you realize just how nasty, just how disgusting the federal agencies have become, just how rotted from inside they become, you lose trust in the institutions, because how can you trust them when they're literally taking your tax dollars and using it to fly to private islands and do unspeakable things to babies too? And
when I said that to the FBI guys, now this will be, think of it at this level I was at. My friend and I pull into a Hardee's drive-through, a guy at noon coming back from a hunting trip in Iowa. Another car pulls in front of us. One pulls up to the side and one to the back of us. Now, this is in broad daylight. If this had been after it was dark, I would have bashed through them and would have been a high-speed chase. I'd have been looking for a real cop, right? So I get out. I told my buddy, I said, something bad's going down. I got out and I said, who are you and what do you want? They said, FBI. I said, I don't believe you. Show me a badge. He shows me a badge behind his car. This guy, I go, how about you? You got a badge? He shows me. As I said, well, two FBI or bad guys wouldn't carry two badges, right? So we pull over, we start talking. And I start chewing them out. This went on for 2 hours. And I'm talking to them, though. Two guys were from Colorado. And I said, you guys bashed people's doors down, tore people's daughters down the thing by their hair, down the steps, put one daughter out in the front yard, 15-year-old in her underwear. None of them got arrested. It was all a play because of the election stuff, right? Well, anyway, I told these guys, and I go, you guys bashed a door down. And I said, yeah, you didn't knock. It was like 30. And he goes, well, she didn't open her door fast enough. I said, it was 32 seconds. Are we all supposed to have timers? Quick, the FBI's here, And,
do a drill.
Yeah,
like,
open the door.
We can get the door.
But what I'm getting at is I told the guys, I said, what you guys are doing is wrong. I said, they go, Mike, we're just doing our job. I go, when it starts to go against your moral compass, I said, what kind of people are you? So what I'm saying, these guys seem like semi-nice guys. I told the one guy, I said, you need to read my book. I witnessed to him about God out there in the court. Finally, they said, we got to go. And I said, you're the ones that stopped me. I filibustered for 2 hours, And I go,
well, you brought up God. They don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, exactly. But the point I'm making is it's so corrupt now, I believe, that it's filtered down to other ones that are getting orders to do this job that they know is wrong. I mean, all you guys had to do is come to my office and say, hey, we want your phone. I just said, here, I'll make you a copy. I can have all, can buy them out. You can buy them at Apple, And they've kept it to this day. I sued the government and the FBI.
They still have your phone.
They still have my phone. I sued the government and the FBI. Nowadays, everything's in. I don't use a computer. Everything's in my phone. And there was stuff on there. My dad had passed, so I couldn't get my grandkids' pictures off there from that. That bugged me more than anything. But the thing of it is, if you're taking it from citizens and doing these as citizens, I had the money to go, and I went all in, took them to court. They got to the 8th Circuit in Minneapolis, and they ruled there. They even asked him, well, why do you still have his phone? Why couldn't you just make a copy? He goes, no, we're going to keep the physical part. This is the government now, or the judges asking them questions, and ask the lawyer for the FBI, why, who's looking through his phone? What about attorney-client privilege? And he says, well, we are. And I'm thinking to myself, so you're like a jury disregard. I just heard that, right? So I guess we're not going to look at this because that's you've already looked at it. It's disgusting. Then I take it to the Supreme Court, and our Supreme Court, on the third thing I brought to them, won't even look at it, because I don't have standing. It's my phone.
Did they really say you didn't have standing?
Yeah, the Supreme Court just wouldn't look at it. They did that on a Tuesday. Our other big case with the machines having encryption keys in them, like having a vault with a bank vault with the combination written on that one there. They denied one on a Tuesday and one on a Friday. So you didn't dismiss two Mike Lindell cases in the same day. It was disgusting. I don't know how they just didn't look at it.
This is the same FBI they just become drunk on power. That's how I see it. Is they've let it get to their heads, and the administration, the bureaucracy within the FBI. Like, don't forget, this is the same people that helped perpetrate Waco, Ruby Ridge, and so many other atrocities that we've seen on American people. That kicked down J6ers' doors that weren't even in the building that day, that were essentially just innocent, and they were just there for a rally. And they essentially torture them and then throw them in prison. Right. So there's no justifying any actions of the FBI, and what they've done to you, what they've done to so many Americans is just disgusting. And then you expect them to actually faithfully lead this investigation into an attempted assassination.
When you talk about January 6th, those same FBI guys out in front of Hardee's, I'm demanding. I said, I've been asking Pelosi to come to that little charade at January 6th. I go, is that why you're here? And he goes, no, those are different FBI guys. I go, well, call those FBI guys and tell them I want to go to the parade over there, and I want to talk. I want to talk to those January 6th committee. They wouldn't do it.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.